Hello everyone, my name's Alex, and first of all I want to thank you all for being here this evening, and second of all I wanted to thank the organizers of this event because they inspired me to try this format and also who gave me such opportunity, so thanks. And today I will share my experience dealing with GIS system and integrating one in my Rails application. So what is GIS? GIS stands for Geographic Information System, which is a system that allows you to store, manipulate, analyze, and serve geospatial data. It has many applications related to it. So in such fields as communication, agriculture, logistics, business, and others. So let's dive into the data representation. In GIS, data are represented as simple objects like trees and buildings and rivers or lakes and so ever. And those objects could be represented as continuous fields and the discrete objects. So basically, if we want to simplify that, it's just dots, polygons, and lines, which are referencing the exact location on the map. In Geoserver, in GIS, you have two options how to store data, using the raster images or the vector ones. So for my purpose I picked vector ones because they have no while scaling process they don't decrease the quality of the image, but on the other hand the raster images are just a set of pixels that have their own location on the picture and RGB value. So when you scale the raster image, it all blurs. When you scale vector image, it rebuilds itself using the vector graphics, and basically in vector graphics stored in not exact pixels but relations of objects. So by doing that you can recreate their relative position. So there is a complete solution for dealing with GIS called OpenGeo Suite. It has all three essential levels: the database level, the application, and the end user level. And it is available to all popular operation systems. So my problem was I needed to store and serve geospatial data that ships in shapefiles. Shapefiles just includes the set of points, lines, and polygons with which are referencing the map. So I used just three components from the OpenGeo Suite. The postgis, it's just an extension which provides you the spatial object for your PostgresQL database, and convenient way to store geospatial data, and the convenient way to query and edit and create The Geoserver, it's a Java servlet, powerful application server for sharing, analyzing, editing, and creating components. And OpenLayers, the end user framework, JavaScript framework, which will help you to build the end user experience. So Geoserver has very powerful web interface. However, typically it's too painful to fill in forms and forms and forms. So basically, to create the data you could represent to the end user, you need to complete 3 steps: create a workspace, create a storage, shapefile. You may serve this static shapefile, or you might serve the data from the PostgresQL with postgis extension. So first option is it is easier to configure, but on the other hand, it serves static file, which leads to insufficient performance. And the second approach is harder to configure, but it will lead to decent performance. And publish a layer. So that 3 steps needs to be done to create through the web interface, the component. But what if I need 50 or 100? So I started wondering, I guess it might be a public interface, maybe HTTP one, HTTP based. So, and I found one, the Geoserver Configuration API, or REST API. It has it has nice documentation. However, the functionality it provides was not enough to my needs. So I started searching for other options, but Google didn't help me. But eventually, the simple GET request to the Geoserver/API opened this beauty. So the Composer API, which I found weird because the Composer module is a part of enterprise version of this, but in open source there's no Composer API, which is the web-based solution. Anyway, I found it, and it is powerful enough to create everything you need through that. Simple APIs, simple HTTP requests. But I got to the point, so there is no documentation. What I should send along the request to get the component created. And I started to investigate GET requests and I investigated what GET request returns with particular component. And for that particular component, I figure out the essential defaults that will be that give me ability to create those components. So I found those essential defaults, and I figured out how to create and delete everything I wanted. So then in your Rails application you will need a couple different components. The simple curl-based communicator, just a library. I meant a library that could send HTTP requests simply enough. So I choose the curb gem. Then you will need to have PostgresQL client, a pggem, which allows you to query parameterized to perform parameterized queries and filter the user's input. Of course, we will need the background processing lib. For that, I picked the rescue because I needed a couple queues, and we needed background processing because the import might take a time, of course, and we want give our users the credit to wait until it's over. So, and unzipper, because the shapefiles ships with some files with metadata. And I thought it would be convenient to pack them, and after that unpack on the server side. So the shapefile import tool, the next step, shape to PGSQL, which allows to import the shapefile itself to the to PostgresQL data table. So the import process itself, we submit the form with essential data like name for our workspace, for our storage, and other things. Active record saves that object and triggers the callback. That callback adds task to the queue, and handler then processes the request and creates, using the communicator, creates all needed components. So with that, and on the user end, we use open layers to create the map itself, and in our case, 3 different layers. So that's it. Yeah.
Guys, you have some questions?
At the beginning of your talk, you briefly mentioned.
A bit louder, please.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your talk, you briefly mentioned the domains that this is often used for.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your specific case? What was your
The
application with
utility. The supply systems, like supply systems.
But what was supplied?
Drug, yeah. Like water or whatever.
So it was a general purpose application?
No.
Okay.
So I've got one.
Yeah.
Is the service that are you using is like a dummy storage for those data, or does it have like fancy stuff? For example, you can have like a look if like 2 shapes intersect, and you know.
Yeah, that provided by postgis extension of PostgresQL.
All right.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So does everyone have access to this database? There is no access.
What do you mean?
Can you repeat
I
the
can.
question once more, but louder, because none?
So you will.
Actually can access this data, right?
No, only the user it creates. The user imports. So no, there is a user that's responsible for dealing with PostgreSQL, but the resources are the access to resources are restricted on the application level. So yeah. Sure.
Have you tried to model roads on the maps and use some graph to calculate roads?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.